What an absolutely wild weekend in Las Vegas. From a chaotic start to a thrilling finish, the first ever Las Vegas Grand Prix delivered drama, action, and a fair bit of controversy. And through it all, one man stood on top of the podium once again. Max Verstappen, but his victory was anything but straightforward. Let's rewind to the start. The lights go out, and immediately it's action-packed. Verstappen, starting from P2, gets a fantastic launch and dives down the inside of pole sitter Charles Leclerc into turn 1. It was an aggressive move, maybe a little too aggressive. The stewards thought so, handing him a 5-second time penalty for forcing Leclerc off the track. Max wasn't happy, but he had a race to win. Behind them, the midfield was pure chaos. Carlos Sainz, who had a nightmare weekend starting with that infamous manhole cover incident and a grid penalty, spun around, collecting a few other cars in the process. Lando Norris also had a scary moment, losing the rear of his McLaren and hitting the wall hard, bringing out the safety car. Thankfully, Lando was checked and cleared at the medical center. After the restart, Leclerc was on a mission. He hounded Verstappen, and with that 5-second penalty looming over the Red Bull driver, the race was wide open. Strategy games began. Verstappen served his penalty during his pit stop, which dropped him down the order. Meanwhile, the other Red Bull of Sergio Perez was quietly making its way through the field. Checo started way down in 11th, but showed incredible pace, eventually finding himself in the lead of the race. It looked like a potential 1-2 for Red Bull was on the cards. But Charles Leclerc and Ferrari had other ideas. Leclerc on fresher tires was flying. He retook the lead from Perez, and the battle was on. Then a second safety car was deployed after a collision between George Russell and Verstappen. This bunched the pack up again and changed the entire complexion of the race. Both Red Bulls pitted for fresh medium tires, while Leclerc stayed out on his older hards. It was a massive gamble by Ferrari. Could Leclerc hold on? When the race resumed, it was a three-way fight for the win. Verstappen, with his superior tire advantage, was relentless. He first dispatched his teammate Perez and then set his sights on Leclerc. The pass for the lead was clean and decisive. Verstappen surged ahead, building a gap that no one could close. But the fight for second place was far from over. On the final lap, Sergio Perez was holding on to P2, looking to secure a crucial 1-2 for Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship. But Charles Leclerc, in a breathtaking display of skill and bravery, pulled off a stunning last-gasp overtake into the final chicane. He lunged down the inside, catching Perez completely by surprise and snatching second place right at the checkered flag. It was one of the moves of the season, a perfect end to a brilliant drive from the Monegasque driver. So, Verstappen takes his 18th win of the season, an incredible record. Leclerc claims a well-deserved second, and Perez rounds out the podium in third. Esteban Ocon had a fantastic race for Alpine, finishing in a strong 4th place, followed by Lance Stroll in 5th for Aston Martin. But the drama didn't end with the checkered flag. Post-race, the FIA announced a shocking development. Both McLaren cars, which had finished in the points, were disqualified from the race results. The disqualification came after post-race scrutineering found an infringement related to the fuel system on both Lando Norris S and Oscar Piastri S cars. According to the official FIA document, the issue was with a technical non-compliance in the fuel system's assembly. While the stewards noted that there was no performance advantage gained, the rules are the rules. It's a brutal blow for McLaren, who lose a double points finish. Lando was already out of the race after his early crash. But Oscar Piastri, who had driven a solid race to finish in the points, was stripped of his result. This reshuffled the final classification. With the McLarens disqualified, the final points-bane positions changed. This is a huge setback for McLaren in their fight in the constructors' standings, and a tough pill to swallow after what was already a difficult weekend for the team, especially with Lando's crash. So, what are the big takeaways from Vegas? First, Max Verstappen is simply on another level. Even with a penalty and a damaged front wing, he found a way to win. Second, Charles Leclerc is a superstar. His drive was masterful, and that last lap overtake on Perez was pure magic. And third, Formula One can be incredibly cruel, as McLaren found out the hard way. Despite the initial criticisms and logistical hiccups, the Las Vegas Grand Prix ultimately delivered a spectacular show. The racing under the lights of the strip was phenomenal, with battles up and down the grid. It was a race that will be talked about for a long time. What did you think of the race? Was Verstappen's penalty fair? Was Leclerc's final lap move the overtake of the year? And what about that McLaren disqualification? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. It was a truly memorable weekend of racing, and we still have one more to go in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this race recap, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more F1 content. We'll see you for the season finale.